Welcome back to In the Kitchen with Paul and Judy. Do you realize that this is our 20th In the Kitchen video?
I did not know that.
And we've never done a dessert before.
What?
I know, so it's about time.
Well, the brie was sort of a dessert.
Nope, doesn't count. It was cheese. And we did a goat cheese ball, so see, no desserts yet. But today we're going to be doing a dessert, and it sounds dreamy.
Why?
It's called the Pumpkin Dream Cake, and we give credit right now to LaDawn, who has a blog called Loving Life and Living Yeast Free, and she said that she did this in 2019 for Thanksgiving, and it was her most popular dish, bar none, for the year 2019.
Okay, cool.
So she redid it on her blog. We're stealing it, and we're going to adapt it in our own way. That sounds better. And actually, speaking of stealing,
yes.
Well, she adapted hers from another blog that you've heard us mention, which is called How Sweet Eats. So we're all kind of borrowing each other's recipes and having a ball doing it. So let's talk about what you're going to need in this recipe, and then we'll open everything up, measure everything out, mix it all together, turn on the oven, bake it, ice it, and on we go, and taste it.
So we're done.
It's pretty easy. So here's what you're going to need. Again, it's called Pumpkin Dream Cake. And in this recipe, you will need flour. And in this case, 2 cups of all-purpose flour. We chose regular flour. LaDawn suggests a King Arthur gluten-free flour, so that's an option for you. You'll need baking soda, in this case 2 teaspoons. You'll need ground cinnamon, and that's going to go in both the cake and the icing. So in this case, for the cake, 1 1/4 teaspoons. You'll need a dash of salt, 1/2 teaspoon to be exact. Grated nutmeg, and she says freshly grated nutmeg. If you can find it, we're kind of cheating. No?
Not too much.
Not too much. We found it's brand new,
right.
Ground nutmeg as a spice. Then, speaking of a wonderful spice, you'll need pumpkin, a can of pumpkin. We found 100% pure pumpkin. LaDawn called for
puree.
A puree. If you, excuse me. Little room.
Okay.
LaDawn called for a can of pumpkin puree, but she said she couldn't find it. And when I sent Paul on his shopping spree, he couldn't find it.
So we got
this.
Puree with 1 less E.
Yeah, yes, pure pumpkin. And we're going to spice it up even more than what it already is.
Okay.
So after that, you'll need brown sugar, 1 3/4 cups of brown sugar. You actually need yogurt in this recipe, a 1/2 cup of plain Greek yogurt. This is my favorite brand. I use this one in my smoothies in the morning. You need eggs, and it calls for 4 large eggs. We bought the cage-free. And you need, yes, vanilla. You'll need vanilla in both the cake portion and in the icing portion. And then the other thing for the cake portion is she calls for a 9 by 13 inch baking dish.
For a sheet cake.
Yes, for a sheet cake. And we're going to change and do something a little bit different. We haven't practiced this before, but I looked up how you can use a different type of pan and how you adjust it. You really don't adjust the recipe, but you'll adjust the baking time. And the reason that we're doing this is because 9 by 13 inch with only 2 people is a lot of cake. So we decided we're going to try to do it in cupcake fashion, which I think will be really fun. And we're going to use those little, what are they called? Cup liners, cupcake liners.
Baking cups.
So we could even, share them in little bags with our friends. Then for the icing, as far as ingredients go, let's keep going with the icing so you have everything you need before you even start. You'll need 2 blocks of cream cheese, 8 ounces apiece, and usually in other recipes you've seen us use the Philadelphia cream cheese. But
what happens when it's this close to Thanksgiving, everything sells out. So they only had the 1/3 less fat or something like that, and we didn't want that.
Yeah, I think it was low fat or something like that. So he just got the regular generic. Then you're going to need butter, and in this case it's, I think, a 1/2 cup of salted butter, so you'll just need 1/2 stick. You need powdered sugar, so that's going to be very tasty, and the confectioner's sugar may be something that you have in your pantry. We don't usually, because we don't do a lot of baking, but we will now.
So we have a lifetime supply.
We have a lifetime supply. You'll go back into your original arsenal, if you will, because you're going to reuse some cinnamon, and you're going to need another 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So those are the things that you need for the icing. And then, of course, Paul said, if we're going to do the
You
cupcakes,
need the baking cups.
so I thought that was a brilliant idea.
You will need the mixing bowls. You need your little whisk.
Yep.
We have our
Spatula,
spatulas, your
measuring spoons,
measuring spoons and measuring cups.
measuring cups.
And the mixer.
Yes.
Yes.
We're going to use a mixer and kind of mix it all together as we add the ingredients, but we'll show you how that works out.
You don't necessarily need the big KitchenAid, but I liked it so much with our
Sweet potato souffle.
I think I can do the same thing.
And the original chef, if you will, who we got that recipe from, Brenda, she said, yeah, I use the KitchenAid blender too, but it's so funny when people cook a lot, I think they assume that we all know what we're supposed to do. And Paul and I are like, now, do we blend? Do we mix? Do we whisk? Do we cover it? Do we not?
And of course, we never practice these.
No.
You probably can tell. And you need to toast.
Oh, and you need to toast,
Yeah.
because that is tradition. Because this, after all, is in the kitchen with Paul and Judy. So now you know everything you need. We're going to open everything up, measure it all out, and we'll come back and
All
show
right.
you how to use it all.
See you in a few.
So we're going to start with the dry. One thing that we need to do, though, is set the oven to 350.
Is that me?
That's you, closest to the oven man. The other thing you would do is use a baking pan spray. If you're going to use that 9 by 13 inch baking dish, go ahead and butter, grease, or use the spray on that. Since, as you know, we're going to try and experiment with doing cupcakes, we got the little liners, so that, and they're very pretty. Paul chose the little silver liners. So that's all set and ready to go instead of using any kind of baking spray. So in one large bowl, you'll start with the flour, and that was 2 cups of flour. So I pre-measured 1. Here's the 2nd cup of flour. So that'll go in.
Will we need this later?
We may need that again when it comes to the powdered sugar for the icing.
Gotcha.
So the next thing is the baking soda, and that's 2 teaspoons of baking soda. And that I really kind of wasn't able to pre-measure, so I thought I would just wait and do that in front of everybody. Yep, so 1, and you guys can correct me if I miss my count.
We need more outtakes.
I know, this is true. So 2 teaspoons of the baking soda.
Right.
Next, more dry, which is 1 1/4 teaspoons of the cinnamon. Another one of those things that I love to just shake into my smoothies in the morning. So that's 1 1/4. Yeah, it's very good for you, actually. And so a little shake gives you a little bit of that sweet, spice. Then 1/2 teaspoon of salt, so that I can use every one of these in my arsenal.
It's a good thing you have that little fancy thing.
Right? This was a gift from Ellen.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, one Christmas she gave me this, and I just thought, oh, it's the cutest thing.
And she didn't realize you didn't cook.
She didn't realize that In the Kitchen with Paul and Judy was in my future.
become a
Maybe
thing.
she did, yeah. All right, so I said 1/2 teaspoon of salt.
There you go.
All right, and then I think the last dry ingredient that we add is the nutmeg, and that's back to the little quarter guy. So here's our nutmeg. And then, as I said, 1/4 teaspoon. Isn't that a neat little trick?
That's a very nice trick.
Had you ever seen that before?
Yes.
Oh, here I always think I'm creating something new. So that is it for the dry ingredients, and I'm
Okay.
going to whisk all that together.
right.
And then I'm going to turn things over to you because you get the next chapter.
What? I do?
Yes.
And not only do I have the... Do you want me heading over there now?
Sure, and I'll follow.
Not only do we have something for me to do,
Yes.
we have a new camera angle for you.
No, we're introducing a new camera angle. We decided to give it a try because
wanted
we've
to
always
see,
wanted those
you know,
cameras
on top, right.
above the stove, but we're above the mixer today.
So this is going to be for the mixer. I'm going to put all the ingredients into this stainless steel bowl that locks in to the KitchenAid mixer. And I don't know if it matters in what order that these go in. Do you care?
Yes, I'm going to
Okay.
help you out. So let me grab my little recipe. So the
pumpkin.
very next thing, in a large bowl, mix together the pumpkin. Yes, that'll go first. Now it says whisk together, so obviously we're taking liberties with Pour La Don's recipe, but we just, in the aspect of time, decided, you know what, let's just mix it all
I
together.
love the mixers.
Yeah, it's great. And it was funny because when we did that sweet potato souffle, and I'll put that link in the upper right-hand corner, we decided to use the KitchenAid mixer since we had it, and we thought, this is going to mix and get all the lumps and bumps out of it. And then the chef, as I said, wrote to me and said, yeah, I just assume you know that you're supposed to use a blender or a mixer. So sometimes the chef will end up doing it the way the chef did it anyway.
Next.
Okay, the next thing you need to add is the sugar, the brown sugar.
Okay, that we pre-measured our 1 3/4 cups
Perfect.
of the brown sugar. It is also a staple that we use for our brie day.
Yes, and by the way, while I'm thinking of this, and Paul's doing all the hard work right now, I wanted to remind you, if you haven't done it so already, to subscribe to our channel in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, because it helps us out, and we really appreciate it. And if you can even take the time to make a comment, we appreciate that even more. You're waiting for the next step? Sorry.
I'm sure it's the yogurt.
It's the yogurt.
Okay.
Yes, and that is 1/2 cup of yogurt.
And what kind of yogurt?
Greek yogurt. Paul said, I think that's the only kind.
Is there any other kind? I don't know.
Because, as you know, he does most of the grocery shopping when he's out. He'll stop after basketball and pop into Publix and do the grocery shopping, or Walmart to get some of the canned goods. And I always say, add yogurt to your list.
Now,
So-
am I supposed to mix this before I add the eggs?
Yes, if you would, please mix that together. Oh, and you know what? I need to give you one more ingredient that I'll measure over here for you, but you can start the mixing. You need to add in the oil, which is 1/2 cup of the
Into
vegetable
this?
oil. Yeah, and you can do it while you're mixing. I can add that. Yes, I meant to pre-measure that. And it is vegetable oil, 1/2 cup.
Okay.
All right, so that'll go in there.
I couldn't help but notice you're horning in on my duties over here.
Oh, you mean you think I intentionally left out the
Yes,
oil so that I could
think
just
so.
contribute, have something to do?
You wanted to shine on my half of the kitchen.
Whose show is this anyway?
It's Judy's show.
Just ask Paul Kelly.
Now I'm adding these in before the dry.
All right, so let's see what she says. In a large bowl, whisk together, which of course, as I said, we're kind of cheating, the pumpkin, the sugar, the yogurt, and the oil. And then once smooth and combined, and no lumps and bumps are left, you know what? You might want to use the spatula.
If I do, then I have to do this.
There we go. Okay.
Otherwise it'll just chop my hair
Okay.
right off.
We don't want that.
Yep.
So
Or do
once
we?
smoothed and combined, then you'll whisk the eggs in, but one at a time.
Okay.
And we were thinking, we're really caressing this recipe, but can't add them all together, one at a time, so you can start it back up again.
Well, I've added in and then,
Oh,
because
I have to
As you
teach you
said.
how to do, I had to teach Kristen, Paul's daughter, how to do eggs because she kept going boom, 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 and then all the shells would fall in. I said, just give it one good crack, and then it'll be very easy
you know,
to
I've
do.
found these. I'm getting these cage-free,
Oh, yeah.
and I think it. I don't know if this one was Eggland. Yeah, Eggland's best. The shells are really hard.
Oh, harder than like a normal
Yeah,
egg.
and that's why I ended up having to pick the shells out of the
Of sometimes our omelets or sometimes our eggs. Okay, next egg.
next egg.
Yep.
You want me to try it while it's working? See
Yep.
if this is a disaster?
I definitely do.
Okay. Because we need outtakes.
Honey, you end up with half the egg down the side of the bowl. Is that why you handed me a paper towel so that I could
Yes.
clean up after you?
That's what we do.
All right, I'm ready for the next egg.
I'm gonna turn it off on that because it is a little difficult.
I was going to say, let me show you how to crack the egg. I'll do the last egg and show off. And wouldn't you know, half the egg shell would run. No, I'm not going to do it.
Okay. Oh wait, I'm sorry.
it'll
I'm sorry.
end up in the-
One egg at a time.
As soon as I start to boast, it'll ruin the whole video.
Well, this is good. So
You're ready for the next
The
one.
consistency is looking awesome.
And the next thing you're going to do is whisk in the vanilla extract.
Okay.
And that, as I recall, is 2 teaspoons.
I'm not whisking a darn thing.
Yeah, that's
The
true. You're
mixer's
letting the
doing it all
mixer
for
do
me.
all the work. So there's 1
Okay.
and 2. All right, so that's ready.
Wave to our new camera angle.
They can't see your head.
I can't?
No, unless your head's down by the mixer. Now they can.
Okay.
It's going to be interesting in the editing process to see how that other angle works, but I think it'll be fun. All right, so then after we have everything whisked, blended together, no lumps and bumps, then we're going to add in the dry ingredients to the wet. So I think we're ready to do that.
Okay, so
mixing until combined, no lumps.
All right, what I'll do is turn it off.
You don't want me to do it while it's
I think
going?
you want to have a little more room to get in there.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So should I do like maybe half? And then you can
I think
blend?
you should just go for it.
Okay,
Because it'll just continue to mix it around until,
sounds good.
yeah.
We shall do it that way.
And if we have to pause to use our little spatula, we will.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep. Let's do that now. Can we?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
It's looking really good.
Don't rush the process.
No, I mean just to get the other flour in.
Hold on.
We're also going to be, if you were using or are deciding that you're going to use the 9 by 13 inch, you're going to be baking this for about 30 to 40 minutes, or until when you put the little toothpick in, it comes out clean. You know, I want to make sure that this wasn't the area also where she suggested, yeah, let's add an extra teaspoon of the pumpkin pie spice. Because I think I should have put that in the dry, but it's okay to do it now. Yeah. But anyway, since we're doing, and this was LaDon's add-on this year that she did not do in 2019. Yeah, she said a whole teaspoon. I'm just going to do it this way. Kind of eyeball. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so that was...
Clear?
No. Oh, it's okay. I just want to get it all. I just want to get it all.
That's what you do when you're starting your plane. You want to yell clear,
Clear.
so that anyone out on the runway doesn't get hit by a propeller.
Yeah, that would not be
It would
good.
not be pretty.
But anyway, what I wanted
Already
to...
it smells different.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it's
I know, with the
fantastic.
pumpkin. So that's another thing, that when you're doing the dry ingredients that you saw me do with the flour and the baking soda, the salt, and all the spices, if you want it a little extra spicy, add in either a teaspoon of pumpkin spice, or maybe a little bit more nutmeg, or even a little bit more of the cinnamon. And you're going to have cinnamon in the icing as well. But I thought this was kind of fun, and I wanted to pass it on to you because I researched how long you're going to do it. I looked up, how do you adjust a cake recipe if you want to use a different size pan? And from the Seattle Times by Kathleen Purvis, she wrote, you don't need to change the recipe, but you do need to adjust the baking time. So you need to make sure the volume is correct. Well, since we were doing the 13 by 9 inch pan comparison, it said that with cupcakes, you're pretty much going to be fine with the amount that'll all fit into 12 of the little cups. But your baking time is going to adjust by almost half. So instead of 30 minutes, at 15 minutes, we're going to check it for doneness with our little toothpick.
The moment of truth has arrived.
What's that?
And that is...
What's next?
There's not a pouring spout on here.
Oh,
So
right.
I don't know if you want to ladle it in. I don't know why you're laughing.
I don't know why you're laughing either. It was your idea to use a ladle, and it was brilliant.
It's the concentration.
Alrighty, sir. Are we up to temp?
We are.
Okay. So that'll go into the oven. We'll set that for, we'll check it in 15 minutes, I think.
Okay.
And see how it comes out. All right.
I'm second aproning.
Your second aproning.
Right.
It smells amazing in this kitchen right about now.
Did you clap?
No. I just started.
I didn't know if you needed to.
You know what? I didn't clap the second go round either, so
Okay.
I guess it's just not going to happen. Never mind. I'll have to sync things up just by reading the lips of all the cameras. But what we did do is we started with one pan or one tray of the cupcakes, and they came out amazing. So I wanted to show you what they look like before they get frosted.
Yes.
So it ended up being 23 minutes instead of the 30 to 40 of a sheet cake. So I just want to kind of clarify for you depending on what kind of pan you use. But now, at this point, you have to let the cupcakes cool, completely cool, because you don't want the icing just kind of melting off the whole thing. And the other disclosure is that we did have a lot of batter left, so we ended up making another batch of the cupcakes.
Mini cupcakes.
Yeah, I didn't have 2 of the large 12 ones, so we have a lot of little bite-sized ones that are going to be done, so they may
your
be
coffee
done
in the
even
morning.
faster. Exactly. I know, I'm so excited about this. So as far as the frosting now goes, you're going to use those 2 blocks of the 8-ounce cream cheese, and you're going to use half of a stick of butter, well, actually, it was half a cup. So we're actually using the whole thing.
Right.
So I said that wrong the first go round. So we'll just use the whole thing. But the other thing that I did not disclose is the recipe calls for, thank you, unsalted butter. And we don't typically buy unsalted butter. We're not sure how that's going to affect the recipe, but we just are using the butter that we already have. And what you'll do is blend or mix the cream cheese and the butter together. And after you do that, then you add in the dry ingredients, which include the powdered sugar, which is 1.5 cups of the powdered sugar, and then the vanilla and the cinnamon. So actually, I think the vanilla is the last thing to go in. So you're kind of blending everything together. And in this case, it didn't say whisk, it actually allows us to blend. So you know that we're doing some of the recipe by the book, by the recipe.
We always improvise.
I know.
That's what we do.
It's true. I'm sure every chef does. Now that's the lowest it'll go, I guess. I'm trying to grab that last bit of butter to get it to join the party. All right, that's good. Okay, so with that done, nice and whipped, now you add in the 1.5 cups of the pre-measured powdered sugar.
We're saying goodbye
Voila! Yes,
the
we're
measuring
saying
cups?
goodbye to the measuring cups. Beat in the sugar, oh, and the cinnamon. So I might as well do the cinnamon too. And the cinnamon in this case was half a teaspoon.
I'm going to go take a peek at the other.
Oh, take a gander. Yeah, good idea. They're going to take even less time to cook. Not the 23 of the larger muffins, but probably more like 15. Has it been 15 that we have had those in yet? Did we set it for 15?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then I'll keep doing my thing. Slowly adding in so I don't get powdered sugar everywhere.
It's looking good.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love the color. It's almost a mocha frosting.
It's that cinnamon.
Exactly. Going in with the powdered sugar. Okay, so frost the cooled cake. Be sure to keep the cake in the fridge after you frosted it because of the cream cheese frosting. This is going to be a hit. Oh, I'm so excited. And we're going to upload this video in time for the holidays. So if you decide you want to make it your holiday, Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's dessert for your family, it will be up in time for you to be able to practice. Okay, that looks nice and creamy, dreamy to me. And then the last thing that goes in is the vanilla. And for the vanilla, it was 1 teaspoon. And again, I don't know the reason for the order of the things in the recipe, but there must be a reason. Just the way they blend and mix together is enough for somebody to have figured it out. So those are all your ingredients.
And in 20 seconds, you'll hear the
the ding of the second. We can show them the teeny tiny little muffins.
Mini.
The mini-me muffins.
Mini. There it is.
There it is. And there is the doneness of that beautiful whipped frosting. It smells so good. See, and I'm tempted to just lick the beaters like we used to do as a kid.
Okay, this might be a little ridiculous.
Ooh, good job. That looks great. So now we have to let that cool completely, and then we will frost and show you the end result. So excited. All right, so this is going to be the best part.
Yes, it is.
We get to taste.
We do.
But first we want to show you how they're kind of turning out, and I think that the icing goes a long way. So you can, if you do it cupcake style like we did,
Be generous.
you can be generous with the frosting. But look how pretty they are. And we did let the larger muffins cool before we started the icing process. So
This is
that's
also where
why.
she says you stored them in the refrigerator because of the cream cheese
Yes.
ingredient in the icing.
Exactly. And I was saying it might be a little bit of a tough present to give because I don't think that cream cheese icing hardens the way that like birthday cake icing does.
Right.
But we do have some of the smaller muffins that we're going to be icing next. But we did want it
To taste.
ice two of them. So
I know what you're thinking. You're going to ruin your appetite. We don't care, we're grown-ups.
no, what I was thinking is I can't believe we haven't done a cheat muffin before we turn the cameras back on. We have nothing in our teeth. We have not tried anything. So this is the true test.
Is this me?
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah. Cheers. Oh my goodness gracious.
This is fantastic.
No wonder it's called pumpkin dream cake. That's really good.
Honestly, the icing is sort of gilding the lily. The cake is so good by itself.
And you know what? It's funny you should say that. In her recipe, she says the same thing. You could serve this even without the icing.
I agree.
Because it's so flavorful and it's so moist.
Well, thank you so much for watching. And remember, if you like what you see, please subscribe. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you a darn thing.
Love that.
And if you want to share it, you can share the videos as well on your channel.
You can actually share it to your Facebook page in addition to your YouTube channel.
I don't even know how to do that.
Thank you for joining us for In the Kitchen with Paul and Judy. Until next time, have a wonderful holiday season.
Happy holidays.
We hope that this is a part of it
Yeah.
for you. And I just want to do my fun little presentation for the camera.
Yay.
Bon appetit. Getting my mind wrapped around the order in which we're doing things. You want the spatula to get the ladle clean?
Well, I think that,
Like that?
yes, I wasn't going to worry about what we left behind, but
Weren't you a kid that ever got to lick the beaters of the mixer after your
No,
mom
I
was
was-
making chocolate chip cookies?
I had way too much class. Okay, that's a lie.
Can't let it go to waste. Because the other thing I could do is just, use this to dip it in and then pour it. Should I do that?
I think that's going to be less messy.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
All right, let me
That'll
do
drip
that.
down the sides a little, but that's okay.
Okay, let's try that then. Yes, I think that's going to be messy. Ooh, that's too much.
Went a little crazy on that, didn't we?
Yeah, so I think I really would rather do it right from here, believe it or not. And we'll have to use the spatula.
This is going to be an outtake. Watch.
Really?
Yes.
Why? Yes, it will.
You want a ladle?
No, you know what I'm going to use?
No, that'll take,
I'm going to use the
this will
teaspoon.
take a week long to do the show.
You're probably right. See, this is the part where when you don't practice ahead of time, you don't know what you're going to end up with. Okay, I like that idea. See what I mean about jumping in and making fun? And I was making fun of you.
Judy gets nervous.
Actually, I'm impatient. I don't think it's nervous. I think it's impatient. Definitely not the most patient person on the planet.
Really?
Really.